Hello there, Freestyle. My name is EvanS. As some of you may already know, I find my grandfather to be pretty inspirational, and I made a podcast with him to talk about his sense of humor and perspective on life. And I've also wanted to make a film about him ever since the junior year documentary unit. Well, Freestyle, now is that time. Title, music, stuff. Now I'm going to keep this presentation fairly brief because I want to show the film in its entirety, but I'll give an overview of what my process was like. The first step for me was to interview my grandparents, and I stayed with them for half a week and got a net total of 2.5 hours of interview footage between the both of them, which is a lot of footage to work with. I also wanted to dive into the realm of frame-by-frame animation for my Zenith project because I feel like animation is a cool art form, which meant I also had to learn how to use Adobe Animate. And if there's any animation students in the audience, sorry if you notice any really obvious mistakes. I also repurposed some audio from my podcast for one of the animations, so if you have like eagle ears, you can pick up on that, or I guess whatever animal has really good hearing. That's what it's called. The end result is maybe a little bit abstract, but instead of just talking about it more, I'm going to let you see for yourself what I made.
You wake up in the morning, you don't know what day it is, what month it is, what year it is. You keep a little calendar by your bed and you check it, and then you know, and everything kind of clears up. If you ask yourself, what did I have for breakfast yesterday? I don't necessarily remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. It's just things like that. The short-term memories are not really there. To add things to your memory is extremely difficult. I would think I'm around 71 or 72.
You're actually 82.
82. Well, I had the... I just added 10 extra years I get to live. I have some questions I'm going to ask the Lord when I get there. I invested a lot in filling up my mind. I used it all the time. I created, I wrote, I showed compassion, understanding, all of those things. I mean, they're so grossly important. And it's like the Lord said, Jim, it's time for you to kind of give up some of that stuff. You've got to entrust that to others. But that isn't easy to do. That's definitely very much a sense of loss.
So I don't think he has the ability to just visualize what he'd rather have. He doesn't want to have to make that decision. And it can be even something simple like, we have some chocolate this and some vanilla that. Which would you like? I don't care. That's not the way he's always been his whole life.
I don't know. I don't feel like it's a war. I just feel like it's a cloud of confusion, and I'm trying to find my way through that cloud of confusion. I don't know. It's hard to put my finger on what the feeling is. I think to myself, I'm a pretty smart guy. I know the answer to the questions. So then I remember, well, it's just that I've gotten old, and the way I've gotten old, I'm going to live longer than my brain holds on to all the things that I've learned over the years. Try to make the best of it.
And he gets nervous, and he never used to get nervous. I mean, he was a minister all those years, and he had a lot of confidence. Get up in front of anybody at any time. He doesn't feel comfortable in a lot of situations that he used to feel comfortable in.
Difficulty is, for most of your life, it's automatic. So all of a sudden, when it's a problem, you don't really have a process in place because you didn't need a process. So, you just kind of experiment with stuff, like try to remember something close to what you're trying to remember and see if you can work your way in. But probably 90% of the time, I just say, that's too much trouble. I'll just wait. Maybe it'll come to me. Or ask Nina. We've had a really positive relationship all these years.
We married for better, for worse. I mean, that's in the vows.
We kind of have become pretty natural at responding to the needs of the other one. While I'm probably a bit of a disappointment because I can't respond to new needs, she's not. She's still responding to the needs of her husband, as she always has. That's really, really wonderful.
As far as we're concerned, I know that if I were the one in his situation, he'd be doing the same thing I'm doing. And that we are in this for life. I mean, you become, after you've been married for this long, you become part of each other. You don't see yourself as two individual things. Whatever happens to him happens to me. And the other way around, it'd be the same thing. You just try to make it the best you can for your spouse. You take care of them. You take care of each other. As he says, that's what you sign up for, You love the person no matter what happens.
I did most of the driving in our marriage, particularly on trips, but now it would be just too dangerous for me to do the driving. My inability to keep clearly in my mind where I'm going, or if I can identify that, knowing how to get there. Typically speaking, I generally do, but I do have a fear that I'll make a wrong turn, and if I do that, I'm lost.
He had excellent sense of direction before. He could find things without even a map half the time. He had a sense about it. So now he could never get behind the wheel and drive somewhere because he wouldn't know where he was going, because he can't visualize where he's trying to go like he used to.
Well, as I understand it, it's part of your brain starts dying before the rest of you. We all, when we get old, different parts of our anatomy are decaying and dying and whatnot. That's part of what it is to grow old. But for most people, it's not the brain per se. I don't see any merit to fighting it. The first thing you have to do is accept the fact that it's a losing battle. So why fight it like that? Wouldn't it be better to try to learn how to live with it and lessen its impact on you? Doesn't mean it doesn't make me mad once in a while.
And don't try to make it into something that it isn't going to be anymore. Acceptance, learning to accept that this is the way it is, and you don't know what's going to happen next, but you can certainly have the same relationship with this person in whatever his ability is at any given time, and it changes.
Well, I'm sitting here with a grandson, and that's one thing at this point in my life, how completely important my family is to me. I think it's one of the reasons it's important is that so far that's all staying with me. Grateful for that. As long as God gives me that privilege, I'm going to enjoy it. Sometimes if I worry about losing that.
And that is a very meaningful time to me. And we always sit at the kitchen table, have a lovely breakfast. We always start out with, thank you, God, for this beautiful day, because we're looking out at a beautiful day and we're enjoying a lovely breakfast, and we know that everybody doesn't get to do that, and we appreciate it. You can look at the bright side and you can make the most of things, or you can see all the dark and downsides, and that's a choice. The more you choose the everything's going to be okay approach, the more it actually is.
My name is James Edward Clark, and I am a senior citizen, as they say, and I am dealing with Alzheimer's.
Anything else you want to add?
It is done. Clang of bell, roar of gun. Send the tidings up and down, how the big bell, peal on peal, hurls the news from town to town. That's what I want to add.
So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly had a lot of fun spending time with my grandparents, and I hope it does them justice. I know there are definitely things I could have improved, such as getting more B-roll or maybe spending more time in the animations. But also, animation is hard and I didn't have that much time. Overall though, I was pretty proud with what I was able to make. Also, since this is kind of my last freestyle project, I just want to say thank you to all the freestyle staff for making such an awesome program and for letting me be a part of it. And it makes me kind of sad to think, but I guess this is kind of my goodbye to freestyle. But seriously, thank you. Take care out there, everybody.